Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to make a quick and easy assessment using Google Quizzes. The first thing I'm going to recommend that you do is watch this video on one device while you're creating your quiz on another device. So you can pause the video as we go and work alongside me. First thing we do is go to the waffle on the top right of your screen. Click on that and go down to More. And we're looking for Google Forms. Once Google Forms loads up, we're going to click on Blank Quiz. You can see that there's some other templates here that you can explore later if you choose to, but Blank Quiz will work for us. So the first thing you're going to do is title your quiz, Period 4 Quiz. My first question, the all-important name. So that automatically changed to a short answer, and I'm going to make this a required question so that students must answer that question in order to submit their quiz. Then I'm going to click on this plus sign on the top of the sidebar to add a question. So the first question I'm going to ask is going to be a multiple choice question. What is the capital city of New York? Now, look, Google has even suggested a correct answer for me. So I'm going to put Buffalo as my first choice. Then I want Albany, the correct answer, to be my second choice. So I just click on that. It automatically fills it in. New York City will be my third choice. You can add as many options as you like. One great feature is down here on these three little dots on the bottom right. I click that and I can select Shuffle Option Order so that way the students each get the options in a different order. It shuffles the answers, and that'll minimize cheating when we're in crowded classrooms, as we all are. Then I'm going to click on the plus sign again, add another question. What is the tallest mountain in the world above sea level? Now this one I want to be a short answer question. There's all different types of question choices we can pick: short answer, paragraph, multiple choice, check boxes, drop down. I'm going to pick short answer. Now, when I go back to the answer key, let's go back. I got a little ahead of myself. Let's go set up the answer key for this question. Now, Google knew the answer to what's the capital of New York City, so it automatically picked Albany, but I do have to assign the points for that question. I can also pick Add Answer Feedback, and I can give feedback for incorrect answers, or I can provide a link or a YouTube video. I can also provide feedback for correct answers, so students can get immediate feedback. Let's go back down to what's the tallest mountain in the world above sea level. Again, let's go to the answer key. I want to make this worth 2 points. And I can list all acceptable correct answers. Mount Everest, Everest, Mount Everest, and mark anything else incorrect so that the form can automatically grade this question just like it would a multiple choice question. I'm going to add another question. What is a variable? I would add my multiple choice options here for a multiple choice question, and then in the answer key on answer feedback, on incorrect answers, if I wanted to direct students to a particular video, I simply search YouTube, or I could put it in by the web page if I already had that, and insert this video, which I particularly like, about variables. Click Save, and then For incorrect answers, I'll get that video automatically to explain to students what a variable is. I need to select my points. Now, for the next question, maybe I want to have an image prior to the next couple of questions so students can refer to this snippet of code. So I got that from the sidebar, the fourth item down, add image. Refer to this code for the next two questions. And then I proceed adding questions just like I have been. If I only wanted to use that snippet of code for one question, I could insert that image right here within the question itself. So you get the idea of how to set up the questions and the answer key. So now let's go and check out our settings. Up here, this little gear. So I always like to click collect email addresses because if I forget to include a name field, I have collect email addresses and I can figure out who's who. Restrict to Port Chester Union Free School District. So this is automatically selected for me. And I also click limit to one response so students can't go back and redo the quiz again. The next tab over, presentation. If you've got a longer assessment, you may want to show a progress bar so that students can use that for time management purposes. And we have shuffle question order. So there was the shuffle answer order option in the multiple choice questions. We also have shuffle question order as another possible option. And on the far right tab on quizzes, we have turn on locked mode. This makes it so students using a Chromebook cannot open any other tabs, which is great. You know they're not opening other tabs and looking up answers to the quizzes. The only drawback I found so far with this is if a student brings in their own laptop to school, they cannot take the quiz on locked mode. They have to be on a Chromebook. Now, the default for release grade is immediately after each submission. And if you're using questions that are going to be automatically graded, like multiple choice or short answer, just leave it on this setting. But if you're using the paragraph style questions that you have to grade yourself, click on later after manual review. This will automatically turn on the email collection we talked about on the other tab so that students will get an email after you've graded their quiz. So I'm going to click save on these settings and I'm going to go to send. I send out my quizzes via a link. I copy this link and I go to Classroom. So in Classroom, I can open up one of my classes, and maybe this is a Do Now quiz. I like to do those a lot. So I type in Do Now quiz, simply paste the link here, and then rather than clicking post, I click this little arrow. I schedule the post for the beginning of the period so that when students walk in the door, the assessment will be posted to Classroom, but it's not available to them prior to the class starting. So that's basically how you set up a Google quiz. Now let's look at some of the responses for a quiz. This is a sample quiz that I set up, and it has 2 responses. So you can see here, these are the questions and the summary. You can look at it individually, question by question, or you can look at each individual response. Now, I did not include a name field in this, but the name field would generally be your first question so you know who is filling out the quiz. So you can see on this quiz, let's go to the second submission. I can look at the student's work. Okay, so they got this one wrong. It was automatically graded. this one wrong. And it's given them the correct answers. This short answer they got right. And this was a paragraph style response. So I would go in here and give them 2 out of 2 because they got that right. And I can also in here add individual feedback. So if the student got this wrong and I wanted to refer them to a video or a link or just give them an explanation or some feedback for each individual student, I can do that on this page. Additionally, you can click on this green little icon right here on the top right. It'll create a spreadsheet of all your responses. So that's it in a nutshell on how to set up a Google quiz. I titled this one Period 4 quiz, so I want to do that up here as well on the top left. And one thing that you don't have to do, but that I like to do because I feel it makes my grading easier, is if I'm going to give this quiz in more than one period, I like to make a copy. So I click on these 3 dots on the top, make a copy. I'm going to call this one Period 6 quiz because I want to keep my responses separate for each period. Now I have a separate quiz for period 6. The title was changed up here on the top left. I want to change it here as well. And now I'm all set. I hope this video is helpful for you and it'll help you create Google quizzes for your classroom for quick assessment where the students get quick feedback, immediate feedback, and know how